Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will start with air pollution, as has been just mentioned here. ये ग्रीन ट्रिब्यूनल का एक ऑर्डर निकला है कई सालों से relating to vehicles that have applied for more than 10 years should be out of the road. And अगर NCR के बाहर वो vehicle जाएगा तो वो 5 साल के लिए व्यवहार हो पाएगा. This is a blanket order. There is no limitation how many kilometers that vehicle would have run, whether those are pollution free or not. सिर्फ एक blanket order आ गया है. इसके खिलाफ मैं थोड़ी बात कहना चाहता हूं, क्योंकि इस तरह का ब्लैंकेट ऑर्डर सारे 4 व्हीलर्स पॉल्यूशन नहीं करता. इतने ऐसा भी है कि 2 साल में 3 साल में भी वो व्हीकल पॉल्यूशन करता है, पर उनको छूट दे दी गई. 10 साल एक टाइम लिमिट कर दिया गया. आई थिंक विदाउट अप्लाइंग adequate mind on this aspect, and in a way one can allege that it is only to promote the automobile sector that 10 साल के बाद सारे automobiles रोड के बाहर हो जाएंगे. My request would be to the government that yes, it is a green tribunal order. At least the government should bring out a new law or go to the Supreme Court for reconsideration of this order. क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ भी पहले पार्लियामेंट हाउस के कैंपस में पॉल्यूशन व्हीकल पॉल्यूशन चेकिंग होता था. अगर यू फिक्स अ लिमिट, अगर कोई गाड़ी 10 साल से 1 लाख किलोमीटर भी रन नहीं किया है तो क्या पॉल्यूशन करेगा? अगर पॉल्यूशन करता तो उसको हटाइए. तो ये सारे चीज़ आने की चाहिए, व्यवस्था होनी चाहिए. सेकेंड थिंग विच आई वुड लाइक टू मेंशन इज we are having incessant rain, heavy cloud burst, and this happened. I have witnessed most people in Odisha who were there in 1982. Hirakud Dam reservoir was created to check flood of Mahanadi, but this cloud burst was beyond or in the lower part of Hirakud reservoir, and huge amount of flood water came in Mahanadi, and it was going to inundate Cuttack and large part of coastal Odisha, and breaches were made, and it had a terrible, created a terrible havoc in 1982, and super cyclone of 1999. And after that, which affected more than 14 districts of Odisha. But after that, invariably, 1 year is a cyclone, next year is flood. That's how for the last 2 decades, Odisha is being ravaged by flood and cyclone. And nowadays people in my village are saying, in the villages of Odisha are saying, we don't have monsoon rains anymore. And every time when it rains, it is the low pressure in Bay of Bengal that brings rain into Odisha. And this year particularly, what has happened is that we didn't have adequate rain in the month of Asad and Shravan, that is the month of July and August. And that's how the paddy saplings were planted little later in month of September, and large part also was not cultivated at all. And now when the paddy was going to be harvested, suddenly we had 2 subsequent heavy rainfall and cyclone, which has flattened the total paddy field. The farmers are practically crying every day, and they don't know what to do. Why I am saying this is that this has a direct impact, climate change has a direct impact on us. And this reminds me of a small book which most of the families in our villages and in some city dwellers also have that small book. It is called in Odia Khana Bachan. And that Khana Bachan was actually pronounced, or it's a treatise, which was done by the princess who got married to a king of Utkal, prince of Utkal, and she was from the Singhara, or the present Sri Lanka. And she used to predict by looking at the stars and the sky and the night sky, saying what would be the atmosphere like, what would be the rain, when will the rains come, and what would happen, and what type of Mahamari or epidemic may come, and she used to predict that. And that became her curse also. Because she was predicting the future, some people got together and also asked her in front of the king, that means her father-in-law, that how long our king is going to live. And she predicted. And that's how it was decreed that her tongue should be tweaked, should be clipped, so that she will not predict anymore, because whatever she is saying is becoming true. But still, the treatise is there and people read it, and also to study celestial things. It helps. I would just now mention here that now in most of the states, I have got a list here, because this was discussed in COP26, installed power capacity in megawatt, large number of states. This is a report of Central Electricity Authority. The source is, large number of states even today in our country have more than 50% of the capacity of their energy is being produced from thermal power. There is very few states which have energy being produced from renewable, including solar, wind, bioenergy, small hydro, and large hydro. I think it is necessary now, as the Prime Minister has given 50 years time by 2070, that we will come to net zero. I think we have to make a plan how to bring down the thermal energy production, at least first stage, to below 50, and increase the other renewable energy or the small and hydro energy to 50%. Sir, in simple words, the climate change is a long-term change in the average weather patterns that have come to define Earth's local, regional, and global climates. As per the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change means a change of climate which is attributed directly or indirectly to human activity that alters the composition of the global atmosphere, and which is in addition to natural climate variability observed over comparable time period. It is important to highlight that climate change and global warming are two different phenomena, and these two terms have distinct meanings. Global warming refers to a long-term heating of Earth's climate system observed since the pre-industrial period, that is between 1850 and 1900. Conference of Parties, as we term it, COP, is the supreme body of United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. The sessions of COP are organized annually. So far, 26 sessions of COP to UNFCCC have been held. The 26th COP was held in Glasgow during 30th October to 13th November, relating to two instruments, that is Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement. Before coming to that, sir, I must say that UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention Climate Change, the climate conference held in Geneva, that was in 1990, issued a strong statement highlighting the risk of climate change. The global climate action started with the adoption of the UNFCCC at the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development of Rio de Janeiro in 1992. Today, the International Environment Treaty provides guidance to the world for governing actions to combat climate change through adoption of mitigation efforts directed to control of emission of greenhouse gases that cause global warming. Sir, in this House, in the 15th Lok Sabha, we have discussed relating to climate change when Mr. Somnath Chatterjee was in the chair. And invariably, most of the political parties had participated in that. This must have been discussed in the other House also. But repeatedly, we have discussed on climate change. I'm glad that the Honorable Speaker has also allowed this House to deliberate on this subject. Sir, it's 3:30.
अभी प्राइवेट मेंबर्स बिजनेस का समय हो रहा है, परंतु आज भर्तृहरि मेहताब साहब और उसके बाद 3 वक्ता और हैं, थोड़ा उनकी बात हो जाए पूरी, फिर प्राइवेट मेंबर्स बिजनेस ले लेंगे। आपकी इजाज़त हो तो इजाज़त दे दीजिए। ठीक है?
ठीक।
ओके, प्लीज।
Thank you. Sir, however, thank you, sir. Many developing countries, including India, announced voluntary mitigation goals. India in 2010 announced its voluntary goal to reduce the emission intensity of its GDP by 20 to 25% from 2005 level by 2020. We have taken a number of measures which have resulted in the decline of emission intensity of our GDP by 20% between 2005 and 2016. That means 4 years before we have come to the agreement or the प्रतिज्ञा जो हम लिए थे उस समय हम उसको meet किए. Another is Paris Agreement, an instrument which is legally binding for governing the post-2020 global climate action. India has ratified this on 2nd October 2016. India's historical cumulative emission and per capita emission are very low despite being home to more than 17% of global population. I remember because as member of a delegate from the Indian Parliament, I had participated in Copenhagen summit that was led by Honorable Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. Dr. Swaminathan also was in that delegation. Dr. Murli Manohar Joshi also was in that delegation. And Sitaram Yechuri also was in that delegation. I was privileged to be in that delegation. Also, there, India insisted that cumulative emission and per capita emission are very low in India. And we should insist, during that time, European Union was insisting, it is not per capita, it should be on a different scale. Here I should mention that this House should express its appreciation to Honorable Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change for tirelessly, he and his team has worked on COP26. The outcomes demonstrate their effort. Honorable Prime Minister at COP26 expressed to intensify India's efforts to address the challenge of climate change by presenting to the world 5 nectar elements, Panchamrit of climate action by India. What are these? They are: 1, India will take its non-fossil energy capacity to 500 gigawatts by 2030. India will meet 50% of its energy requirements from renewable energy by 2030. 3, India will reduce the total projected carbon emission by 1 billion tons from now till 2030. By 2030, India will reduce the carbon intensity of its economy by less than 45%. And 5, by the year 2070, India will achieve the target of net zero. These are our commitments which the Prime Minister has made in an international platform. Therefore, today there is a need for climate justice and climate-friendly lifestyles to safeguard future generations and the planet from the impact of climate change. Singling out coal won't serve the purpose. I think that was the major point which our minister had put forth in that conference. India's argument that other fossil fuels used by rich nations are equally responsible for emission is logical. Recently, we have witnessed heavy rainfalls that have flooded major southern cities. When climate negotiations were going on in Glasgow, Delhi declared a public health emergency on account of air pollution. For the first time in history of the world, more people live in towns and cities than in rural areas. In India, cities continue to experience shocks such as floods in Chennai recently and also in 2015. Heat waves such as one in Ahmedabad in 2010 that claimed more than 1,000 lives, and water scarcity such as in Maharashtra in 2016 when water had to be carried on trains. Therefore, comprehensive climate plans need to be produced, and those who run the cities have the know-how to execute them. Before I conclude, let me ask a question to Honorable Minister. is it true that India will require approximately $1 trillion by 2030 to achieve national goal on climate change, which was announced at Glasgow recently? We can do it, and that's why I have just factored in this figure. We'd like to have an answer from the Minister.
Thank you.